We're in San Diego with Toyota to drive the brand new Prius Hybrid.
More power, well, basically more of everything. Let's go. Punch it.
Well, a lot more power, I have to say.
Yeah, it has that classic sort of Prius sound. The gas engine does come on. It is a hybrid. It's gas and electric working together. A lot more power, and we're going to tell you the price in just a little while.
Yeah.
Right now, what's under the hood of this latest Prius?
Out is the 1.8-liter four-cylinder. The Prius Hybrid now has a 2-liter four-cylinder matched to an e-CVT with a combined 196 horsepower for all-wheel drive and 194 horsepower for front-wheel drive. The previous model had 120 horsepower. That's a 60% power boost from that outgoing model.
More power, better acceleration than the outgoing model. All-wheel drive models go to 100 kilometers an hour in 7.2 seconds. That's 0 to 60 miles an hour in 7 seconds.
Maximum engine torque is up 16% from 120 pound-feet to 139 pound-feet.
So there's a larger front electric motor, a larger rear electric motor. The front electric motor has a torque bump of 20%. And the electric motor in the back is much bigger. It actually has a 50% torque bump over the previous generation. So this is an all-new Prius. You get a lot more stuff in this. What are the key standard features?
The base trim comes with an 8-inch touchscreen, a 7-inch driver information display, wireless Apple Carplay and Android Auto, a heated steering wheel, a power driver's seat, heated front seats, Softex upholstery, smart key with push-button start, 19-inch wheels, and a tire repair kit. In the US, there's a more stripped-down base model which doesn't have many of these standard features. You have to move up to the XLE middle trim to get them. A spare tire is available on the LE model in the US.
Drive modes. Sport, that's the one we like. What else can we put it in?
You got to put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the Cup of Car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
Make sure you like and subscribe, but also follow on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes on the channel. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.
This new Prius uses the 5th generation hybrid system, and it has a new lithium-ion battery which is found in the rear seats. It's lighter and smaller.
So the previous Prius was available with a nickel metal hydride battery or the lithium-ion. It's now standard lithium-ion, produces more power, and is lighter. Okay, Andrea, we've had this car for the day.
Yeah.
You run into somebody at the coffee shop and they say, Andrea, what do you have to say about the new Prius? Tell me in 10 seconds, what are the highlights for you?
Sporty, fun for a hybrid, firmer suspension, firmer steering. This doesn't feel like a typical Prius.
I think that was 8 seconds. That was pretty damn good. I would say the same thing. If someone came up to me and said, what do you think of the new Prius? I would say, first of all, way better car, way better handling, more power, more expensive. We'll get into that as we get going along.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with this. It kind of has the suspension that I like. It's not too soft. Performance-wise, you can see that Toyota has really worked on making this a little bit more fun to drive. Maybe people will get excited about driving a hybrid.
Well, that's the whole idea. They want people to be excited about Prius.
There is no doubt that this is a huge improvement from the outgoing model, but when you accelerate quickly on the highway,
what's that? What'd you say?
It's a little bit louder.
Yeah, it has the classic Prius sound. I'm okay with that. You're buying into the whole idea of what a Prius is, and it's part of what the magic of the car is. It's the sound.
Yeah, but when you're cruising along at a steady speed, the cabin remains quiet, and it's so comfortable. Like, what a pleasure to drive. The seating position is nice. You don't feel like you're sitting so low to the ground, although the driving position is lower than the outgoing model. I think all around it offers a lot of comfort.
So in the US, you can get a front wheel or all-wheel drive Prius. In Canada, they've just gone all-wheel drive. And that extra large electric motor at the back compared to the previous model will be noticeable for people who have driven the previous car. For me, the most important thing was the handling and the sense of it being planted on the road. It has a much more planted and substantial feel than the old car.
It's an electronic on-demand all-wheel drive system that uses the motor to push the rear wheels for better traction and grip, and also for smoother acceleration. Gas tank isn't as big on this model. It's 40 liters compared to the previous Prius at 42 liters. Some of the biggest changes come to the exterior. This looks sporty, sophisticated, refined. Toyota has done a great job with exterior styling.
So you chimed in on this. We did a little walk around video when we saw the car at the LA Auto Show, and the comments were overwhelming, saying they never thought they would say like good looking and sexy and Prius in the same sentence.
Yeah.
It all comes together.
This new Prius has got 6 inches of ground clearance, which is more than the outgoing model. It is also longer, wider, and it has a 2-inch lower roof line.
Yeah, much sleeker. And the other thing is the highest point of the car used to be kind of in the middle. Now they've pushed it back. It has that long sweeping rake from the front all the way through the windshield to the back of the car. Pretty impressive looking.
I really like the slim LED headlights. It gives it a real sophisticated look in the front. We're riding on 19-inch wheels, which are standard in Canada, 17-inch standard in the US, but available 19-inch wheels on the XLE and limited models.
What was the old one? 15-inch wheels?
15-inch, available 17-inch. That's a huge difference.
And that's one of the things you're going to notice. We talked about the improved driving dynamics, and you feel a lot more of the road. A big part of that comes down to the tire. With a shallower sidewall, you get more feedback through the chassis, and you feel more engaged, that's for sure.
Drag coefficient is 0.27, which is a little bit higher than the outgoing model at 0.24, but remember, this is a bigger vehicle.
My favorite look on this car is from the back. I think they did a great job with the rake of the rear window, and then the tail lamps that are connected all the way across and then turned down at the edges. It really kind of anchors the back of the vehicle. Nice looking.
I really like the Sportback look, not only for practicality, but just that kind of coupe-like style. You've probably noticed that the rear hatch no longer has a split rear window, and there is no rear wiper. We did ask the chief engineer about this, and he said he would have to change the look of the vehicle if he added a rear wiper, and he would also have to make the window smaller, which he didn't want to do.
And it has an available power rear liftgate, but only if you splash out for the top model.
Moving into the inside, it really has a minimalistic and simplistic interior design. There's a variety of hard plastic, but also soft materials at the touch points, and not as much piano black as I expected.
Yeah, it's kept really to the center console, just framing the shifter and a few buttons.
Yeah.
We'll get into the way you charge your phone in a second, but I think, Andrea, I really like this seating position, the small sporty steering wheel, and then the quasi head-up display where the instrument cluster is. They've pushed it so far up and forward, it kind of splits the difference between a regular readout and a head-up display.
Yeah, you don't need a head-up display in this, and it's really great for visibility. Well, I like the practicality of this 7-inch digital driver display. I'm not crazy about the look of it all, but it is definitely something I could get used to because it's a great feature to have.
Okay, so then you slide over to the right, and the car we're driving here has the big 12.3-inch screen. We did get a chance to look at the base model with the 8-inch screen. So the frame is really about the same, but then the screen inside the frame is smaller. On that model, it's interesting, they have the volume knob on the left closest to the driver, but on this model, the volume knob is on the right closest to the passenger.
There's a few things that I really like in here. First off, the traditional shifter. I think that the center console is very well organized. I like the heated steering wheel button on the left of the steering wheel. It is fully heated all the way through. You've got knobs and you have buttons for the heated and ventilated front seats. I think Toyota has done a really good job simplifying everything to this interior.
It's logical. The steering wheel goes to the whole part of it feeling anchored and a little bit sportier. It's a small steering wheel with new switchgear on it that looks really good. It looks more upscale than the previous Prius for sure. Now we are driving right now in the top model, but yeah, you're right, Andrea, not a lot of piano black.
No.
And the interesting thing is your phone slides this way into the charger. It doesn't lie flat in the tray in front. It's right here. General Motors has had that for quite a few years. It's quite handy.
Yes, and it keeps the center console really clean. There's another part that I like here is the trim that's on the dash, and it kind of has a bit of a retro vibe to it. A very cool look, which, as Zach had just pointed out, I mean, it could have been piano black and Toyota opted out.
Above that, you'll see basically an ambient lighting strip. And this one, is it blue?
This one's blue.
Okay, I'm colorblind, so
and
I would say...
And the prime is going to get red.
Yeah, so what this does is it adds a little bit of ambient lighting, but also when you're at a stop sign and the cars pull away, it flashes to remind you that, okay, it's time to go.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is with the forward collision warning and avoidance for pedestrians and cyclists, it'll also flash as a warning.
This has now been upgraded to Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which includes forward collision warning with pedestrian detection, lane keep assist, lane follow assist, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert are all standard.
So in the United States, you get 3 trims. You get the base model, the XLE, and the top trim. In Canada, we just get the XLE and the top trim. So how does it kind of break down, and which one would you pick?
Well, the base trim in the US is kind of a stripped down version. You do get the 8-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple Carplay and Android Auto and cloth interior. We recommend moving up to the middle trim in the US, so you get the 19-inch wheels, heated front seats, a power driver's seat, Softex upholstery, a wireless charger. Some optional features on that XLE trim include the larger 12.3-inch touchscreen and the fixed glass roof, but you will pay extra for them.
Pay extra for everything.
In Canada, the XLE model comes with some great features. We talked about that in our key standard features, but the top limited trim opens you up to so much more, like the larger 12.3-inch touchscreen, a wireless charger, a panoramic view monitor, the 8-speaker JBL sound system, the fixed glass roof, driver's seat memory, ventilated front seats, heated rear seats, a powered tailgate, advanced park, and front and rear parking assist.
Now, the top limited trim in the United States doesn't come fully equipped. If you want some extra features like the digital mirror, that's $200. Heated rear seats, $350. You can also add the premium package, which includes advanced brake and the panoramic view monitor for just under $1,100. So I would classify this as a compact car, really, and when you get in the back seat, you definitely notice that. There's pretty good legroom. The rake of the roof, though, does encumber headroom. I'm 6 feet tall. I would suggest somebody over that try it to make sure they fit. The seats are comfortable, though. Toyota does a good job with that. There's an armrest, however, the rear seats don't slide and they don't tilt.
Overall passenger space is larger than the outgoing Prius. It offers an inch more front row legroom, 1.5 inches of second row legroom compared to the previous model. The only thing that it falls short on is a little less cargo space.
Yeah, when you lift the back hatch, as we mentioned, the top trim gets the power lift. Underneath, it's kind of flimsy feeling, and then underneath it's full of styrofoam. Styrofoam's nice and light, and you can store things under there. That's why they've done it. But yeah, smaller than the previous model.
Comparing it to something like the new Kia Niro, it does offer more front row legroom. It has a little less second row legroom compared to the Niro, but more cargo space.
All right, brand new Prius. You have a lot of questions on this.
And we finally remembered a coffee.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
It's a good-looking Prius that isn't incredibly slow. Intriguing. Curious if a 6'4" tall person might be comfortable in it.
That might be a bit of a trick.
Well, you're 6 feet. I'm totally fine with it. I'm about 5'7", but Zach is 6 feet, and he does have a very long torso.
I've got the torso of a giant.
He really does.
But you know what? I think 6'4" might be on the outer limits. So
you're going to be pretty close to that, fixed glass roof there.
So yeah, I don't know what to say other than it's going to be tight.
And just try it and see if you like it.
You too might have the torso of a giant.
You might. Do you think the interest and excitement of this new Prius will change its image compared to its predecessors?
Can I just answer quickly? last night, they split Andrea and I up at dinner.
Yeah, they
Andrea
didn't let us sit together.
Andrea was at one table, I was at the other table.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to chief engineer of this new Prius.
Yep.
And I asked him, I said, what's the deal with this car? They want to show people that hybrids can be actually more dynamic and fun to drive.
Yeah, they actually use the word love. We want you to love this vehicle. And it's really about performance and wanting to get into your vehicle each day because it has a more exciting drive than a typical hybrid.
It's more exciting. It's not a performance car. It's just a more dynamic Prius.
Yeah, so yes, to answer your question, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. We put out a lot of content each week on the Motormouth YouTube channel, and it's super easy to find.
All you do is go to the YouTube search bar and type in Motormouth, the name of the channel, then the brand you're looking for. In this case, it's Toyota. There's a lot of Toyota videos, and they all pop up. It's that easy.
Sounds weird to ask, but is there still a market for small hybrid sedans? I get a hybrid SUV, but as the price comes down on EVs, this Prius seems to have missed a golden opportunity to go electric.
I missed the headline that electric cars are coming down in price because electric cars are all going up in price.
They're so expensive and are really not very affordable for the masses. I think that hybrids are a great option because the price is lower, or even a plug-in hybrid option. But the problem is a lot of people don't have the infrastructure, whether they live in a condo or they have to make changes to their own house, as we do in our garage, which would be quite costly to put a charger in. So something like a hybrid is perfect.
Yeah, you know what though? I think to your point, where does this fit in? Now, if you backed up 10 years ago, Prius had to do all the heavy lifting. So there was a Highlander hybrid. I think the RAV4 was just around the corner. And this was really the cornerstone of Toyota's hybrid platform.
Yeah.
But that's all changed. You now have Corolla sedan as a hybrid. You have Corolla Cross as a hybrid. So you don't have to have all your eggs in this basket. They'll sell you another one over there at Toyota.
And Toyota says that the demographic that they're targeting for the Prius are people who want a sedan, that are not interested in getting a crossover or an SUV. So they're really targeting people who are not interested in the SUV segment.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Is it better to get the top trim Prius or mid-trim Prius Prime in the long run? As we'll be getting government rebates on the latter, is it worth the extra money?
Well, we're at a bit of a disadvantage because we're driving the hybrid model, which is coming in early 2023. And then later in the year, the plug-in model is coming, and they haven't told us the price of that.
No.
They haven't told us the range of that. So we're kind of a bit in the dark here, but I guarantee you, because we're going to do the price in a moment, that plug-in is going to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, Toyota has raised their prices on this Prius, especially in Canada. And now with the elimination of the base trim, we've only got 2 trims in Canada. You're going to pay more for it. Well, if you go by what Toyota has done with this hybrid model, let's just say top trim to top trim of the previous model, it's over $9,000 more in Canada and just under $2,500 in the US. So that's a substantial difference. I can only assume that the Prime is going to be priced a lot more. You're right, you do get a $5,000 federal rebate in Canada, and there are also rebates in participating provinces, but we really can't say because we don't know what the price of that Prime is.
Yeah, it's going to be a calculation when the finally comes out. And then there's the old question is, are you going to get one, even if you want the plug-in? So it's interesting, and it also comes down to, please, if you live in an apartment and you can't plug a vehicle in, don't get a vehicle with a plug. Get this, get the hybrid. A public service announcement.
Well, you'll go loopy if you always have to go to a charging station to charge your vehicle.
All right, so we have teased and talked about the price. It is vitally important in the calculation of buying a car, so let's get into it with our vital stats.
In Canada, the XLE model starts at just under $36,500, and the top limited trim is just under $43,000. In the US, the base front-wheel drive model starts at just under $27,500, and the all-wheel drive model just under $29,000. The top trim all-wheel drive model is just over $35,500.
Here's the fuel economy: 4.8 liters per 100 kilometers city, 4.7 on the highway. That's 49 miles per gallon city, 50 miles per gallon highway. Toyota offers a warranty of 3 years, 60,000 kilometers, or 36,000 miles. So what else can you buy if you're looking for a hybrid in this kind of size?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Hyundai Elantra. It has a 1.6-liter hybrid engine plus an electric motor, a combined 139 horsepower, and a starting price just over $31,500.
The Toyota Corolla Hybrid. It has a 1.8-liter 4-cylinder and the hybrid synergy system, a combined 138 horsepower, and a starting price just over $26,000. If you want all-wheel drive, it starts at just over $27,500.
The new Honda Accord Hybrid with a 2-liter Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder engine and a pair of electric motors. It has a combined 204 horsepower. Pricing has not been announced yet for this new model.
The Kia Niro Hybrid with a 1.6-liter 4-cylinder and an electric motor, and combined 139 horsepower, and an impressive starting price just under $30,000.
So there are 4 hybrids for you to consider.
Lightning round. 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improved.
I like the way this new Prius handles.
I like the extra power.
For just under $43,000 Canadian, I would like to see a power passenger seat.
And we don't have a stripped down, less expensive model in Canada. That would open this up to a lot more people.
Wow, what a huge improvement all around. If you're looking for a sporty car, check this one out.
All right, what do you think of the new price? You think it's worth it? This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.